So in a previous video you will have seen me put three pieces together to make this. Now when you're using SketchUp, it's important that you preserve the ability to be able to edit your model, because you may find further down the line that you need to make changes. So it's really important that those parts that make up the separate parts of your product need to be editable separately from each other. Now if I click once on there, then I can select that one surface. If I click twice, I select the surface plus all the lines around the outside. 3 times now selects the whole thing, which is a problem because now I can't do any editing. If I try to select this separately, this part on the side, well, I can't do it, even if I move it into a really perfect position and then use my from right to left selection to select just those surfaces. If I want to now move that, well, then I've got a problem because it's kind of all stuck together. So the question then is, well, how do I fix that problem? Well, this is one of the most important things you're ever going to learn in SketchUp, so I really want you to pay attention now. So I'm going to go back a step or two, and I'm going to go back to a point where I haven't yet put together all these parts. So before I put the parts together, I'm going to triple click to select the whole thing, and then I'm going to click on this button right here on my menu, or sorry, on the toolbar, and that's called the component maker. And a component is something you can make any drawing in SketchUp into, and it helps it to not stick together with other parts like you saw earlier on. So now I actually don't need to do that because I already know that I can make a duplicate and copy that really easily. So now I have these 2 parts, and I've just made them each into components. And the difference between a component and a regular drawn object is that, well, I can now just click on it once and recognize that that's different, because when I click on it, the whole thing selects rather than just one surface. That's the first thing that you notice. And also, the other thing to notice about this is that it's much easier to work with, and I'll talk about why that is now. Well, the first thing we need to know then is, once I move this into position, can I select it and edit it separately? Well, yes, I can, because now those two, because they're both components, I can then select them, and if I want to move it away, I can do that without any problem whatsoever. So it's really probably the most important thing you learn in SketchUp is when you make a product that's made of separate parts, each of those separate parts must be a component. Now, you saw earlier on in a previous video that I can now make a copy of something by dragging it using the move tool, but having the option key pressed. So I've just hit my option key on my keyboard. That's on the Mac. I think it's the Alt key on a PC. You'll have to play around with it and find out. But what you're looking for when you've got the move tool selected is this little plus sign on your cursor, which I have here. Now I'm just going to take this now and drag it, and what it does is it creates a copy of that part, and because I need 2 identical copies, I don't need to draw them twice. And now I have everything separate, and I can edit each piece individually.